Right, well, Saturday is a huge day for both Stranraer and East Kilbride. The Kilby are looking to get to Scottish football's League Two for the first time in their history, but Stranraer themselves are also desperate not to be another name dropping out of Scotland's top four tiers. Last week it ended 2-2 between the sides, and I'm delighted to say we're actually joined by the East Kilbride manager, Mick Kennedy. Mick, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Thanks for inviting me on.
Absolutely brilliant to have you on. Really interesting, really, considering you've got a massive game this weekend. It was obviously a well fought one on Saturday. I watched it back actually. I thought you had by far the better chances in the match, but I suppose after it you would have been a little bit disappointed not going into this weekend with a bit more of a goal tally.
Yeah, I think you look back at the game. Obviously, you're watching it live, then you even look back at the statistics. Then we watch it back. I mean, we should be getting away out of now with quite a superior lead, to be honest with you. And you look at the chances we created, but I think Sunrad on well to stay in the game. Their goalkeeper was excellent, and they'll be happy to get it to 2-2 and get down there. The ties sort of been even, so it's ought to play for this Saturday.
How do you like kind of speak to your players at full time? What kind of things do you say to kind of get them mentally prepared for the week of preparation after a game like that?
Well, the preparation will probably be very similar to last week in terms of because the philosophy and sort of game plan won't change. So I think we stressed them the importance of imposing ourselves in the game on Saturday, and we've done that, and that's why we obviously dominated large parts of it and created numerous opportunities. So it'll be the same sort of plan and strategy going down to Stranraer on Saturday. Obviously, the pitch will change probably part of the game in terms of obviously the surface. We play in a brand new 4G, and obviously the now playing grass, which I'd imagine will not be an unbelievable condition this time of year. So, but I won't change it in terms of we play. So we'll just prepare normally. As I say, we won't change. We'll be always
Mhm.
very open and expansive, and we'll go and try and win the game in 90 minutes. So we'll just prepare the exact same as we did last week.
You're saying that like you had so many chances, you could have been going into this with a win on going into the second leg. That must be a confidence booster though to the boys to be able to play against a team like Stranraer and go, actually, no, we're at least a match for them.
Yeah, listen, I think there's two ways of looking at it. I think you could be disappointed on the back of missing opportunities and not taking that dominance into a more positive sort of situation. But then when you reflect back on it, the message has been to the players that we need to obviously look at how well we actually played, take confidence and belief from that. And if we get to the same levels on Saturday, then I'm pretty confident we'll go into League Two.
How do you see the two leagues, the Lowland League and League Two? Do you think there's much of a difference in quality between,
No,
say, the bottom of League Two or even the whole leagues together?
No, I don't think there's much. I would say the top probably three or four in the lower league would comfortably survive in League Two, and I think you've probably seen that over the last few years. Every club that's went up has progressed through it or has at least stabilised themselves in League Two. So I don't think there's really any difference, and I don't think there's much difference from the top of League Two down to the bottom of League Two either. To be fair, but obviously because we were in a quite a commanding position in the league ourselves, we started to spend a lot of time watching League Two games this year, and every game we watched, whether it was the top player and the bottom, they were all very tight. Not a lot of difference in quality, maybe one or two individuals across each team, but nothing significant. So there's not much of a difference, to be honest with you.
Mm.
You're just talking there about the quality level between kind of where East Kilbride are at and the league that you might be going into. Obviously, goes without saying, it would mean so much for the club to be promoted, and the Keane family, the owners of the club, have put so much into the club over the last 10 years. Do you feel that League Two is the level that East Kilbride should be at now? Because it kind of feels like so much has been invested into the team, and we've seen them, go on cup runs and all this stuff. You kind of feel, is there maybe a thing that they've kind of outgrown the Lowland League, and they are a very ambitious club that they kind of need to be getting to League Two now to enter that next phase of progression for the club?
Listen, I think everybody's aspiration within the club, certainly the owners and the board, has been to get into League Two, but ultimately you need to earn that on the pitch. And I mean, East
Mm.
Kilbride have not won the league in the last 5 years. So that gives you obviously the platform and opportunity to go into to at least obviously play against the bottom of League Two. So they've not done that consistent enough recently. So on that basis of note, they don't deserve to be there. Obviously, this year we've managed to win the league and put ourselves in a strong position to go up. But in terms of investment, infrastructure, in terms of the plan off the pitch, in terms of what Paul and James intend to do when the club moves out of League Two, then definitely I would say that the club could go in and be comfortable, well-established part-time club at that level. But I think you need to earn the right to be there. And unfortunately, over the last 10 years, the club have obviously fell short on a number of occasions.
So you joined the club. You've basically been there for just over a year now. But
Yeah.
you would have joined it where there's kind of a lot of pressure to achieve very quickly for East Kilbride. Do you enjoy that pressure? Is that one of the reasons you joined? And have you kind of tried to instill that in the players to join the club and to enjoy the pressure of being at the club?
Listen, I think when Paul asked to speak to us, me and Simon sat down and obviously discussed what the club's sort of plan was moving forward. I think if Paul didn't obviously say that he wanted to win the league, then we wouldn't have taken the job, to be honest with you, because that's the only reason we were wanting to take it. That there was at least that ambition within the club to try and make sure that we could give ourselves the opportunity to go into League Two. So that pressure me and Simon put on ourselves from day one, and obviously that then comes from the owner and the board. So, but I think everybody was on the same page that this year the club had to at least win the league, and we've done that. And then it's just about then trying to seize the opportunity we've created for ourselves.
Do you stay in East Kilbride, Mick? Do you get a sense of what the kind of mood is like around the place? I mean, I'm from East Kilbride, but I'm not living there just now. And my mum and dad went to the game at the weekend, and I get that sense of excitement from them because they've been wanting it for so long. But do you get that kind of around the place?
I don't live there. I live in the West End, but I've got a business. I've got one of my Black Roosters in East Kilbride, so I spend a bit of time there at least with the football. Obviously, you'll know yourself coming for there. It's a massive town. The population's around about 85,000 people, so there's certainly a fan base there in terms of obviously growing the club off the pitch. But that only happens with being successful. What I would say is the fan base is significantly grown this year. I mean, the numbers are significantly higher than they were when we first went in the door, but that's obviously on the back of being successful. But no, you can see now that the momentum's starting to build, and I think if we can manage to at least get the club into League Two and then have a good summer in terms of recruitment and planning, then obviously I think there's a real opportunity to continue to grow the fan base. As I say, the owner's plan is to build a new £4.5 million stadium as soon as we reach League Two, and the K Park will become the club's training base. So there's massive plans there in terms of infrastructure investment. So it's just up to myself and Simon and the team to try and deliver it on the pitch.
It's obviously a massive. We've said it already. It's a massive game. The tie's at 2-2, so the chance of potential penalties in this game as well, which is exciting for the punter and people who aren't attached to the club and whatnot. But you've not had a great record recently being on penalties, and that's not something that anyone wants to face. But
Cheers,
I know
Andrew.
sorry, mate. I know, but I'll twist it and put it in a positive, because that kind of the heartache in the Lowland League Cup against was Tranent, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know, lost on penalties that day. But you've obviously picked your players up and kept them focused. Do you think that sort of penalty pain can actually give you a boost if you were to go to penalties again?
It's such a difficult thing to prepare for. The reality is it's just about people's confidence and belief in on the day. You can't replicate that sort of nerves and tension, certainly, and apparently it's probably worth potentially getting into League Two. So, but yeah, you've just got to have confidence, belief in the players. As I said, that day against Tranent, we had 2 penalties to win it and missed both of them. So you just never know. And you'd ask me for the 2 players who took the penalties would have scored, I would have banked 100% they would have done. So you just never know on the day, but you've just got to have belief in the boys, and I think we've got enough confidence within the group that if we go to penalties, we'd be confident we could go and win it. But I generally do believe if we can get to the levels we got to at the weekend, and I see no reason why we shouldn't, then I think we'll give ourselves a massive opportunity to win it within 90 minutes.
And you're also you're in another cup final as well. You get so many distractions going on.
Yeah.
Like that must not be easy either. The 26th later on this month, Kirkintilloch, Rob Roy in the South Challenge Cup. So priority is this weekend, though, obviously. But you've got you know it's great to have these big occasions.
Yeah, I think if we were going to League Two, Andrew, we'll send under 20s to that game. I think you'll struggle to find us, to be honest with you. I think half the group will be scattered somewhere across the continent, somewhere. So I don't know if they'll be able to here. I don't even know if me and Si will be here, to be honest with you. So
wow.
so we just need to see if we can pull something together for the 26th. But it's not a big priority at the moment.
I'll play.
Do you?
I'll hold you to that. You might have to.
Do you kind of, obviously it's a very important match, but do you kind of relish these occasions? Obviously, you masterminded the incredible cup win over Aberdeen when you were at Darvel before you came to East Kilbride. Do you kind of relish the being the underdog in the situation and this kind of knockout level of football?
Listen, I think in this country, unless you're Celtic and Rangers, you're probably guaranteed to be competing for trophies every other year. Everybody else who's involved in full-time or part-time football, opportunities to be successful are very rare. So I think when they come along, then you need to ensure that you obviously enjoy the occasion. It's something that drives us. I mean, as I said, me and Simon, we're desperate to come in here and try and make the club successful. I've been pretty fortunate anywhere I've been as a manager. I've won trophies and won leagues and stuff like that. So I'm used to having a degree of success. So, but this is I think it's such a significant thing, simply because what it would mean to the club in the town. I think people would ask me the other day was would it obviously be a bigger occasion than beating Aberdeen, and I think just for what it would mean to the people of East Kilbride and the owners, I think it certainly would be on a personal level. So, but yeah, it's something I'm looking forward to.
I mentioned distractions, Mick. Like, how do you manage a football club and also run like multi-chain restaurants? How do you keep your head like switched on to all the football and then trying to, because that's numbers aren't my game, but you've got to keep a good eye on all of that stuff as well, right? How do you juggle it all?
I'm pretty fortunate that my business partner Kevin's he's real hands on, to be fair. So he's really passionate and hands on. So he sort of manages and runs the business on a daily basis. I'm a wee bit more light touch now than what I used to be. So, and obviously we've got a fantastic sort of executive and management team as well now. So as I say, I just sort of dip myself in and out of it. And then I also own other businesses as well. So you're just trying to spread yourself a bit thinly, to be honest, at times. But what I would say is, like, I was speaking to Si about this last night. I generally don't know how guys who are part-time level managing part-time football in the leagues do a 9 to 5 job Monday to Friday and then manage to manage football clubs, because it's such a difficult. It must be such a difficult balance to get. Because I struggle with it and I've got a lot of freedom. So, but it does take the football does take over your life. It takes priority over everything at times.
Yeah.
But I suppose that's why I do it.
And that's the funny thing with me as well, because there's loads of footballers lower league that want to stay part-time. It just sits with their lifestyles. And some of them are like top level footballers. They could play championship and maybe even a little bit higher, but they make the money and they live their lives quite happily. How about yourself? Do you think you can see yourself as a full-time manager higher up the levels?
I just think that the businesses, that would be probably unrealistic, to be honest with you. I think I think that'd be too difficult, and I think it would probably take away from my livelihood. Which, no disrespect, I would probably earn more doing that than I would being a full-time manager.
Yeah.
So that would probably be a step too far. Happy being part-time, to be honest with you, but I think that's as far as it would go.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate the honesty. That's really cool. And all I would say is, just to finish on, is if you are ever looking to invest further or sponsor, I don't know, a Scottish football podcast or anything like that, you've got our email now. So
Seize the moment, mate. Seize the moment, definitely.
The Black Rooster Scottish football podcast. What do you say?